Hi, this is Dr. Marisa Chan with Discovering Parenthood. So today I am excited to be starting this new series on building self-confidence through independence. And this topic actually came about with a talk that I'm going to be doing Thursday, March 22nd at 7 p.m. at Language Rhythm Academy. And the owner, Jory, and I had been collaborating on what she wanted to present. And I said, well, give me a challenge. What do you think are the needs? What do you see in the students or what maybe in her own life? And she said, your kids seem to be very independent, and that was an area she was struggling with her little one. And so she wanted me to do a talk on, instilling independence. And I thought, wow, well, children oftentimes get their self-confidence from being able to do things on their own. And we see this especially in toddlers, especially once they hit that 18-month, maybe 15, and into the twos, which is where Terrible Twos gets its nickname. And I don't think that's a fair nickname, so we need to come up with another one. If anyone has one, let me know. We're going to rename it. But I'm excited because I think it's a topic that has somewhat been explored. But what is the difference between a self-confident child and a prideful child, an independent child and a dependent child? We're not trying to have our 3, 4, or 10 or 11-year-old, pack them up and send them out the door type of independence. But there is a level of independence that we want to see in our toddlers and in our grade school children, in our early adolescents and teenagers. So I want to first talk about the difference between pride and confidence, because there's a big difference. When we think of pride, we think of someone who's boastful, who is not teachable. When I think of pride, I think of someone who's not teachable because they know everything. And you can't teach someone who knows everything. It just doesn't work. They can't take feedback. Whereas confidence says, not only can I do this, but I can receive feedback. I am teachable. Let me take a risk. Oh, I fell down. That's okay. I'm going to get back up and try again. And that's confidence. Pride isn't like that. Pride actually comes from insecurity, whereas confidence comes from security. So now that we kind of are on the same page with the difference, let's go into how we can support that and encourage that in our children. And one of the things that I found with my oldest was, how do I instill self-confidence? Like, I want him to be proud of what he does and be able to take those risks, whether it was jumping into a pool or learning to ride on a two-wheeler bike from a tricycle. These things seem so little and insignificant, but they're so big in a child's life. And at first, I was the cheerleading mom. So let's talk about the cheerleading parents or cheerleading guardian. Where you're there, you're like, yay, go, good job, all right. And then it dawned on me, am I stealing my child's joy? If I'm that excited, am I taking their excitement and owning it for myself? And then it's no longer theirs. And I thought, that's not what I want to do. That's not the direction I was trying to go in. So what I found and what I applied to the situation, it's a theory in psychology, and it actually stems from sports psychology, and it's called goal setting theory. And I actually applied this to not only sports, but to academics and other little things. And I will go into it briefly here, and then I will expand at the event on Thursday. So you set small goals. Think of it this way. If you are a stay-at-home parent, or maybe you're preparing a presentation for work or whatever it may be, and you're creating that to-do list. Well, on that to-do list, you don't say clean the whole house, write presentation. We just don't say that, right? We would say, vacuum floors, clean bathroom, do research, make appointment for so-and-so to interview, whatever that may be. But we break that large project into small steps So the same applies to children. So let's say you have a toddler and you're trying to get them to put on their own pants. Now this is tricky because you have the tag and it's got to go on the right way, but really with stretchy pants or sweatpants, it doesn't matter. So what if the tag is in the front? It really doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world. It's okay. They are going to get it. They will figure it out. It's not going to last forever. So what I did and what I found is I would sit them on my lap or maybe sit in front of them, and I would encourage it, and sometimes I would even hold up the pant leg and I'd go, I don't see your feet, let me see those piggies come through. And eventually they get it, and you want to encourage. You don't have to be forceful about it. It's about encouraging each little step. And eventually they will get it through your slight encouragement. And it's, oh, good job, high five, and then you're done. It doesn't need to be a really big production. You want them to own their achievement. You don't need to own it. And if you want to own it on the inside. Give yourself a couple of high fives on the inside. But, a smile, hey, five, good job, is all they need. Let them have that, because then they can carry that and move forward. The other thing that I found with building self-confidence was in failures. So I don't think we as parents talk about this enough. When our children are struggling, okay, and I remember going through this with my oldest, and he was struggling to write certain letters. And some of our letters are very hard. English is not an easy language. So what we would do is when he'd hit that struggle, it's, okay, take a break. And give him a couple minutes to go take a breather and then come back and just remind them, hey, remember when you had trouble writing the letter D? And how did you overcome that? And then let them answer you. If they have trouble, give them little prompts, but let them find the answer. So go back to their successes, even small. And sometimes you may have to take them back there physically. Like, okay, why don't we practice the ones you did very well? See? And remember, you struggled at first, and then you got it because you practiced and you didn't give up. So now let's take this, and now let's go here to where they are having trouble, because now they're like, oh, I did this and I accomplished this. Now I can tackle this. And sometimes just taking a small step back helps them leap forward. And that's the way I like to think of it. And then very quickly, I'm going to talk on this, and then I will expand next week. As I was doing research, because I was very enthused, and I have lots of research, and I have handouts for next week. I'm very excited, if you can't tell, was your self-confidence. Oh, yes, there's research out there that talks about the parent's self-confidence. We have to remember that very old statistic that 80% of learning is nonverbal. It's all observation. It's what they see. So if you are not projecting self-confidence, and it doesn't mean it have to be all the time, it's okay that we mess up. That's how they're going to learn, from our mess ups, and that we get right back up when we try again. But projecting that self-confidence of, we can do this, is great. And I can't wait to expand on that, to talk about how we as parents, even in our nonverbal behavior, influence our children. I think it's this phenomenal reciprocal relationship that we have with our kids. So join me next week, March 22nd at 7 p.m. at Language Rhythm Academy, 36 Broughton Avenue in Bloomfield. No registration required. It is free. Visit me at discoveringparenthood.com for more information. You can find me on Facebook. Please leave your comments, your questions. I want to hear your success stories. If you're struggling in an area, I want to know. If there's a topic or a video you'd like to see, let me know that as well, because I'll pull together the material and put something together and post it out there. So I hope to see you. Thank you.